Here it is. Here it is. Found it, found it, found it. Alright, so we have some numbers on PB, which are probably going to be the official ones. So patch 14.23. Small patch leading into the latter portions of the year. The game feels like it's in a decent spot. So okay, we're finally at the point where Riot will probably stop doing large patches. They will do a large patch though when the split begins, because they're going to do massive changes for each split, right? For next year. But I think the next 1, 2, 3 patches are probably going to be like kind of light. Ambessa, as mentioned earlier, we think Ambessa is in a pretty decent spot, and we're giving her a bit more time for her skill growth to catch up. We have some small changes to match her passive duration to Q recast duration and clear her move orders after she R's, so she doesn't walk into a location after successfully casting R. That's fine. Bounties. Bounties are the main portion that feels a bit mistuned, I agree. We're making bounties accumulate faster in general, and also mapping bounty values to be more appropriate when the team is behind and you're trying to solo carry. Okay. I hope that fixes some of the issues that I've been having with the new bounties. We'll see. Yuntal. Yuntal has a bunch of interested users, but it's still a bit weak compared to Collector. We're nerfing Collector a little bit, buffing Yuntal a little bit to help it. Oof. Rough. Yeah, we're slowly, I guess it's slowly pushing Yuntal to be like the primary item for majority of ADCs. And then Aurora. Aurora has some changes to both give her the room to reduce her effective she's in the lead in pro. This will allow her to buff her for regular play if she's less effective in those skill brackets. Her identity will be less about chapping people in ult, more about her tools. Okay, more on the other champs tomorrow. So let's see what we have. This is a very small patch, not much to go over it. So Yuntal Valdares, which is fine. This item is not worth building right now. It's worse than Collector. It's worse than Essence Reaver on certain champs and other alternative options. So that's good. Then we have a Misfortune buff. So Misfortune got a nerf. I'm trying to remember when it was. Like she was very popular in high elo. She was paid a lot. And then they nerfed her. I'm trying to remember what was the nerf. The nerf was like Essence Reaver, I think. Maybe something else. Let me see. Oh, the nerf was 2 base AD. That was it. 2 base AD is all it took for Misfortune. It was 2 base AD and Bloodthirster actually. Yeah, now I remember. Bloodthirster nerf was obviously massive. She was one of the biggest Bloodthirster users in the game. And 2 AD. That's all it took for the champion to fall off. They're gonna buff her now. I don't think they're gonna give her 2 AD. I think they're gonna give her something else this time. Yeah. Mastery is another champion that is struggling a lot. This is very understandable. He is not very good right now. He hasn't been good in a while now. The problem with Mastery is kind of that like Borg and Kraken specifically, especially Borg recently got nerfed, which was a big Mastery nerf. Lethal Tempo is back for Yi, and it's pretty decent. That's good for Yi, so yeah, okay. They're probably gonna give like 1% win rate buff to Yi. Ramos is another champ that has not been doing very well. Ramos originally does very well in low elo games, right now he doesn't. I think the reason why Ramos fell off a lot was Thornmail, I believe. Thornmail got changed number-wise, so it wasn't that good of a Ramos item anymore, and that's what I think made Ramos be a lot weaker. And then Rengar, another champion that's getting buffed. This is scary. I don't know why we're buffing Rengar, guys. This is gonna be like 55% win rate again in Master Plus elo. Yeah, Rengar is pretty much weak for everywhere but Master Plus players. Yeah, it is what it is. Not a big fan of playing into Rengar. This champion eats ban rates extremely, like, he has extremely high ban rates in high elo. People don't want to play against it. Very frustrating. Nerfs. Yomus is gonna get nerfed for range. This is no surprise because guess what? Riot gave a massive buff to Yomus last patch and people have not really realized it. There's also some new builds that have been spawning up. I think Yomus Philios, Yomus Collect, Yomus Caitlyn as well. You almost got like 4% move speed for 5 less AD, which was a massive buff to the item. Collector, I think Collector is really strong. Riot reduced 450 cost of it, like 2 patches ago. It became primary item for champions like Caitlyn, even Jinx, Akshan, stuff like that. So this is sad because I think a lot of champs right now are reliant on Collector being good, and the moment Collector becomes worse for them, the other champions that are not reliant on Collector are gonna pop off in the meta a lot more. So for example, Ashe will like this because Ashe doesn't care about Collector, while someone like Caitlyn will really suffer. Then we have an individual nerf to Caitlyn. I've been spamming Caitlyn a lot. I think this champion is very OP for weeks now. This champion is absurdly overpowered. It has strong laning phase. With the new buffs at level 9, you have really good wave clear. Even level 7, you have good wave clear. The champion turbo scales. She just headshots people for like half their HP at some point. Just mega crit scaler. Teemo. Okay, a lot of people have been asking me why is Teemo getting nerfed. So Teemo is getting nerfed because the champion is mega overpowered in iron, bronze, and silver in 3 roles. Okay, in top, jungle, and support. He's mega overpowered in all 3 roles. This is not a joke. He has around 54% win rate in lower ranks. This is kind of the reason why they nerfed Illaoi and Mordekaiser last patch and Yorick before, because those champs have like 55% win rate in low elo and they're wrecking people, okay? And low elo is where majority of the players are, so it's a lot of games where these champions are just winning with super high win rate. Teemo is one of them. They gave him like a little bit of a buff last patch, plus like the way people have started like building, and then now free roll. It's a 3 roll flex in low elo with extremely high win rate. That's why he's getting nerfed. Skarner, at last, the champion, will not be dodging nerfs this patch. Thank you, Riot. Skarner's been OP now for God knows how long. We're finally fucking having a nerf. Maybe it's finally gonna be a patch where we won't have to how to ban it all the time. Shyvana nerf. Shyvana is another champion that is getting nerfed because of low elo. Yeah, not much to say. She is very good in iron, bronze, and silver, and even gold. I think a little bit. Mostly jungle. This is just jungle Shyvana nerf. As far as I know, AP Shyvana is still better than AD Shyvana, so it's probably going to be another AP Shyvana nerf. Zac is another champion that has very low sample sizes in certain roles, but extremely high win rates, okay? Zac Midland, in particular, has around 55% win rate throughout a majority of ranks in League of Legends, every single patch. Zac Jungle is also pretty high win rate. Actually, no, Zac Jungle isn't. It's only Zac Top and Mid, I think, that are high win rate, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is why I think Zac is getting nerfed, I would assume. I think Zac Jungle does not have absurd win rates, as far as I remember. Not much to say. I assume they're gonna nerf probably some level scaling, because midlane and top lane Zac got just more levels. Kha'Zix, another champion that's getting nerfed. I don't know if this is really like deserved. Kha'Zix, yes, he's good, but he's not, at least like in Challenger US, I wouldn't say Kha'Zix is one of the main junglers. He's almost never played anymore. He's just a good jungler overall in majority of elos. He's better than majority, like he's like a solid jungler that you play in solo queue. He does his job, but I wouldn't strictly say that he's very overpowered. I would rather nerf something like Graves or Viego, but I think Graves has just not been in meta for a long time, and I think Viego has recently kind of been nerfed a little bit, so I think that's why they're just opting into Kha'Zix, because he's just been untouched for a very long amount of time. And then we have Tahm Kench AP. So, okay, Tahm Kench AP, for those that don't know it, Riot gave him a lot of AP skills like a year ago. And obviously, nobody in high elo plays AP Tahm Kench because it's not good, because you have to rely on hitting W and Qs, which people will dodge. But in low ranks, AP Tahm Kench obviously has merit to be played. So I assume what's happening here is that, you know, some silvers or gold players are finding a way to buy some Nashor's Reefmaker Tahm Kench build, and maybe they're just one-shotting people because of these absurd AP skills. So I think they're just gonna walk them back a little bit. And then Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is another champion that recently has started to get gotten popular because of botlane. A lot of people play botlane Kog'Maw right now, which is very easy to play. AP botlane Kog'Maw, even AD. Now Kog'Maw, for those who don't know, is another AD carry or AP carry that has absurdly high win rates. Not in Master Plus, but mostly just Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Emerald, and Diamond. He has extremely high win rates. He's one of the highest winner champs in the game in ADC, if you don't count mages like Swain. So this is, I think, why Riot is nerfing Kog'Maw. I'll be curious to see whether it's going to be a base damage nerf, whether it's going to be AP only. Yeah. Adjustments, Bounties, Rell, Aurora, Ambassa, Jinx, and Smolder. So I'm not sure what Jinx is doing. Smolder, Ambassa, and Aurora, and Rell, I already went over them a little bit, I think. So Aurora, as we said, I'm just going to TLDR it for you guys. The actual numbers of Aurora rework are here. Passive will no longer give move speed. Q will now basically do a little bit more damage. It will have 2 more seconds early, 1 more and then same 2 more seconds in general, I guess. Range on Q will be 50 up, and it will automatically recast at the end of the duration. This means that this will become the default usage of Aurora Q, which means that you won't cast the spell anymore. You will just wait it out and then it will recast at the latest time. Sometimes you will do that, sometimes you'll still want to recast it early. W cooldown, I predicted 4 seconds at least. Actually, I was wrong, it's 6 seconds off. 6 seconds of Aurora W is going to be a lot more spammable because this champion will get a lot of haste. So with like 30-40 haste, this ability will be about 7-8 seconds cooldown. And that's going to be, yeah, you're still going to be able to use it twice or 3 times per team fight, easily. Aurora W might be reverted. Currently thinking of putting the reset on W back in. Fuck. Okay, whatever, we'll see what happens. Speed of Aurora W, 20 to 40%. This seems like a pretty big speed boost. Very big. Range on E, also 50 up. So Q and... So yeah, Q will have 50 more range than E, by the way. But E goes up faster. Okay. And then the R duration will go back to 2.5 to 4. So this is going to mean you're going to have a lot more time making portal jumps. And R speed will be the same as W speed. So... Rell is getting a huge rework, I guess, so I haven't really read this yet. Mana will go less base, less per level. Mana regen will go up by 1 and up per level, the growth. So this means that it's more support skewed, I guess. Armor specifically will go down by 6, up by 0.1 per level. Armor down by 2, down also in general. So it seems to be a lot weaker against mages specifically here. Move speed of Rell will be the lowest in the game, which should be 315. No champion has this low move speed, but the reason for that is because I think W will give her a lot of move speed now. Attack speed growth up, so better at clearing wards. Wind up percent, so this is like, I think, better attack animation or something like that. Passive, minimum resist stolen, 0.8 to 2 linear to 1, so more resist still early game. Now this on-hit damage equal to 5% of Rell's total resist, so that's new. So her passive is going to give her more on-hit damage. Q stun duration down by 0.1. So it's going to be a lot harder to like time Rell's pass. Like she's gonna Q you and then she's gonna try to W and you'll be able to dash out maybe with certain champions. Now gains 20 to 40 move speed while mounted. So her her level 1 base move speed with W is going to be 335, right? No longer loses 10% speed when dismounted. So, okay, she's just going to have low base move speed, but she's no longer going to be super slow. So when you get tier 2 boots, if I'm reading this correctly, she's going to be faster than she currently is while dismounted. Cooldown, down by 1. Dismount, CC knockup, 1 second, 0.4, and then stun for 0.8. What? So this is a buff or what? I don't understand. Is this a buff? Resist increase, 3%. Base, BAS, base attack speed, 20%. So a little bit less, but she gets attack speed more via base stat. What else am I doing? Base shield up by 5 later, whatever. E passive speed removed. So I'm not sure what E passive speed even is, honestly. Active will now give you 10% at all ranks, no ramping, further modified by 2.5 towards enemies. So it seems like you're going to move equally as fast, kinda, when you play against champions, but not as fast if you're not running towards champions, I guess. Flat damage is going to be removed from me. Target HP damage is going to be 5 to 7%. Scales with 3% AP. Cap, cooldown 14 to 10. Okay. So I don't see how this is the end of Rell. The only thing that this really does to me is just feels like she has a little bit less CC. But everything else kind of feels just as good about Rell. It wouldn't surprise me if these are buffs, honestly. I don't know. So far, like, based on what I'm reading, I'm not really getting the feeling that Rell is going to be much worse. Smolder Q is going to get a huge reshape. So, a lot more base damage. Bonus AD scaling, so it's going to be more gold reliant instead of total AD scaling. So, you're going to... This means that Smolder will value a lot of items that give you a lot of AD. So items like Infinity Edge maybe, probably not, but Bloodthirster, stuff like that. Stack scaling will go down by 30%, by 10%, so less emphasis on stacking. And same value on amp on critical strike. Okay, tier 2 bounce, base bolt will go up by 1. Bolt stack scaling will go up, you'll need twice as much stacks. So in overall Smolder, especially throughout the game, is going to have less bolts. However, once you reach 125 stacks, you're going to have 1 more bolt. So now when you reach 125 stack, you're going to start with 3 bolts instead of 2. But as the game progresses, you're going to gradually have less bolts. Bounce damage is going to be worse, so poking Smolder with Qs is going to be a lot worse. Tier 3, base AD scaling will go up by 0.5. AP scaling will be removed completely. Probably it completely dies out AP Smolder. And stack scaling is going to be removed. You guys have no clue how much this means. This means that Smolder stacking is going to be only important to hit 25, 125, and 225. But much past 225, you will not get a lot of benefits stacking on this champion. W, and also non-champion damage is going down, you see? So, and then now refunds 50 mana, so it has like infinite mana basically in lane. You're just gonna queue minions in lane, and you're gonna have a lot more mana. W is gonna be less mana early game, more later, which is a buff, I think. Missile damage is going to be worse, especially early game. Base AD scaling will go up a lot, and AP scaling is going to go removed. Explosion damage is up, base AD scaling up, and AP scaling 80%. Non-champion damage 1.0. I think this ability... Oh, wait, this is bonus damage. Yeah, I'm saying base AD scaling, base bonus AD scaling, whatever. I think this ability is mega buffed. Mega buffed. This is, to me, is absurdly overpowered ability, as far as I'm reading it. I think this will push Smolder to probably max W second, and I think this ability looks insanely overpowered in my eyes, based on what I'm reading. Like, this is just extremely buffed ability. And then E, base of E will go down, total AD scaling will go up, stacks bonus damage scaling 10%. So I think this is like stacks bonus damage scaling. I'm not sure what this means. Extra bolts, 1 per 100 stacks, so more bolts because of easier stacking. R will do 0.5 damage on champions to non-champions, which means Smolder will no longer be able to R and delete the whole wave. He's gonna need like R plus Q on range minions. Cooldown will go to 120 at every rank. Okay.
I'm on the case.
Where does this put us? Where does this put us with the Smolder rework? I think a lot more gold scaling. I think the champion will love AD scaling items, like raw AD items only. He will not care about attack speed or other stats, which will make just, yeah. He's not gonna be a Trinity Force reliant anymore, I think, also because, I mean, Shin is still good on him, of course. Trinity Force gives you like very little AD and gives you like attack speed. So I'm not sure if he will build Trinity anymore, maybe. I think Sojin is still gonna be probably the item though for him. In overall, I think W looks really insane. E is going to be fine. R looks fine besides the wave clear. The Q mostly just nerfed, I think. Especially the burn. The burn no longer having stack scaling. This means that Smolder will no longer melt tanks, especially like high HP targets late game. He will not melt them anymore. This champion will not be as good against tanks. And that's gonna it from PBE. Next patch looking interesting. Hope they don't break Smolder. W Smolder looks really good though. Yeah.